What AMJ Lee said was very clear. Joe Biden was very much emphatic about his own presidency filled with hopes and inspirations. If you ever actually listened to a clip that was briefly played before its interruption, he says that imagine you actually invite your friend and having a pleasant conversation or going to a movie, not really in a far distant future, but in the relatively close, not really actually that remote future. As long as we actually work together to contain this virus, we can probably imagine this beautiful future not further away from what we could experience. That's what it is about. It's really interesting to actually think about the message Joe Biden wants to teach. He was absolutely adamant on depicting the positive aspect of his presidency, if available. If you ever, I mean, have you ever heard his last comment during this final presidential debate? To me, he sounded really like presidential candidate whose presidency is very imminent. Tell the truth. He sounds very presidential. Unlike Donald Trump, he wants to deliver hopes that could eventually be drained if he ever actually once more make wrong choice. So he warned us that please do not let yourself be held hostage or prisoners by this failure. Do not actually play into this negativity of Donald Trump's egocentric presidency. If you ever actually make the wrong choice once more, so we're going to experience the very devastation which it could sabotage the entire future of the nation for generations to come. This is not inevitable. You can make the difference. The actual power lies in your hand. It's time for you to stand up and speak for the nation you love. That's really the key message he was delivering yesterday. And he actually, yesterday hit Wellington, Delaware. This is his hometown. You actually know this better than me, definitely. Joe Biden was indeed a long term senator from the state called Delaware. And Wilmington, Delaware, if my understanding is correct, is the state capital, right? Am I getting it correct? And he's son of Joe Biden, who passed away a couple of years ago. Tell the truth, was expecting to be the next governor if possible. He was counted as a very likely figure to fill up the vacancy because he was already assuming the role as a lieutenant governor. If my memory is correct, I'm so sorry, it was just so abrupt. But I actually know what. Hearing this beautiful message by MJ Lee, I could actually think of many things, and I think she's a very brilliant reporter, and her message was very, very understandable because she was very lucid about her delivery and her reports, and I like that. Um, Joe Biden literally mentioned certain um, instructions like handing out the PPE or masks or even actually possible arrival of a vaccines. And these are really the issues we should be mindful of because we are actually living a very difficult time. And if we ever actually pour our heart into the basic necessities and we can turn things around, everything belongs to our capacity. In this fight against COVID-19, do not let yourself overwhelmed with this politically insinuated turmoil, but simply rely on your reason. We always, have a capacity to make a decision to side with science instead of fiction. Why would you let yourself be overwhelmed or imprisoned by this very impulsive and unreasonable and unconscionable presidency once more, then what would be the true price we all need to pay? That was really the argument. Joe Biden really wants to bring the country together by imbuing the nation with the hopeful messages. He's more like an inspirational figure who is dying to make the country unified once more. He really wants to assume the role as a president who can coalesce different factions in the society into one single unity. That's really the very aim targeted by him, I think. And what is another opinion she's been mentioning? According to Angie Lee, Joe Biden lambasted Donald Trump for suggesting non-scientific or pseudoscientific and even politicized agendas, even at the cost of millions of people, because there had been certain warnings, very dominant in the sector of medical science, that the United States is underway to face a very dire wintry season, which even actually connotated that the nation could experience more than 400,000 deaths in total at the end of the pandemic crisis. But now, it's time for us to keep our chin up and to focus on the bright side of the future by unseating this pessimistic, self-centered dictator who has been bringing the nation to the brink while reckoning with his own interests. That's what he was preaching yesterday. He actually delivered a very powerful, inspirational speech in Wilmington, Delaware. And that was the place his future, once upon a time, was started as a brilliant young senator.